Welcome to Friday, Chapter 7. Chapter 7, we'll read the first part. It's called the Flying Train Committee. In January, our class started a project on the city. Mrs. Haver, our teacher, divided us up into committees by where we live. That way we could work at home. My committee was me, Jimmy Fargo, and Sheila. Our topic was transportation. We decided to make my apartment the meeting place because I'm the only one of the three of us who's got his own bedroom. In a few weeks, each committee has to hand in a booklet and a poster and be ready to give a report. On the first day we got together after school, we bought a yellow poster board. Jimmy wanted a blue one, but Sheila talked him out of it. Yellow's a much brighter color, she explained. Everything will show up on it. Blue is too dull. Sheila thinks she's smarter than me and Jimmy put together, just because she's a girl. So right away she told us that she would be in charge of the booklet and me and Jimmy could do most of the poster, as long as we check with her first to make sure she likes our ideas. We agreed, since Sheila promised to do 10 pages of the written work and we only had to do 5. After we bought the yellow poster board, we went to the library. We took out 7 books on transportation. We wanted to learn all we could about speed and traffic congestion and pollution. We arranged to meet on Tuesday and Thursday in the afternoons for the next 2 weeks. Our first few committee meetings turned out like this. We got to my place by 3:30. We had a snack, and then we played with Dribble for another half hour. And then Sheila gave up on Cooties when Fudge lost his front teeth. But it still isn't much fun to have her hanging around. She's always complaining that she got stuck with the worst possible committee, and that me and Jimmy fool around more than we work. We only put up with her because we have no choice. Sheila and Jimmy have to be home for supper before 5:30, so at 5 o'clock we start cleaning up. We keep our equipment under my bed in a shoebox. We have a set of magic markers and some glue and some tape and some really sharp pair of scissors and a container of silver sparkles. Sheila carries our committee booklet back and forth with her. She doesn't trust us to leave it in my house. The poster board fits under my bed alongside with our supplies. We stack the library books up on my desk. The reason I make sure we clean up good is that my mother told me that if we left a mess, we'd have to find some new place to work. By our third meeting, I told Jimmy and Sheila that I'd figured out the solution to New York City's traffic problems. We have to get rid of the traffic, I said. There shouldn't be any cars or buses or taxis allowed in the city. What we really need is a citywide monorail system. That's too expensive, Sheila said. It sounds good, but it's not practical. I disagree, I told Sheila. It's very practical. Besides getting rid of the traffic, it'll get rid of air pollution and it'll get people where they want to go a lot faster. Yeah, but it's not practical, Peter, Sheila said again. It costs too much. I opened up one of my books on transportation and read Sheila a quote. It said this: "A monorail system is the hope of the future." I cleared my throat and looked up. "But we can't write a report just about the monorail," Sheila said. "We'll never be able to fill 20 written pages like that." "We can write really big," suggested Jimmy. "No," Sheila said, "I want to get a good grade on this project. Peter, you can write your 5 pages about the monorail system and how it works. Jimmy, you can write your 5 pages about air pollution caused by transportation, and I'll write my 10 pages on the history of transportation in the city." Sheila folded her arms and smiled. "Can I write big?" Jimmy asked. "I don't care how big you write as long as you put your name on your 5 pages, Sheila told him. "That's not fair," Jimmy said. "This is supposed to be a group project. Why should I have to put my name on my 5 pages? "Then don't write big," Sheila shouted. Okay, I'll write so small Miss Haver will have to get a microscope to see the letters." "Very funny," Sheila said. "Look," I told both of them, "I think all our written work should be the same handwriting. That's the only fair way. Otherwise, Miss Haver will know what we did, and it won't be a group project." "Say, that's a good idea," Jimmy said. "Which one of us has the best handwriting?" Me and Jimmy looked at Sheila. "Well, I do have very nice writing," Sheila said. "But if I'm going to copy over your written work, you better give it to me by next Tuesday. Otherwise, I won't have enough time to do the job. And you two better get going on your poster." Sheila talked like she was the teacher and we were the kids. Me and Jimmy designed the whole poster ourselves. We used the pros and the cons of each kind of transportation. It was really clever. We divided the chart into land and sea and air, and we planned an illustration for each one, with the airplane done in silver sparkles and the letters done in red and blue magic marker. We got halfway through the lettering that day. We also sketched in the ship and the plane and the truck. When Sheila saw it, she asked, "Is that supposed to be a train?" "No," I told her, "it's a truck." "It doesn't look like one," she said. "It will," Jimmy told her, "when it's finished." "I hope so," Sheila said, "because right now it looks like a flying train." "That's because the ground's not under it yet," Jimmy said. "Yeah," I agreed. "See, what you got to make it look like it's on a street." Right now, it does kind of look like it's up in space. So does the ship, Sheila said. Yeah, we'll put some water lines around it, I told her. And some clouds around the plane, Sheila said. Listen, Jimmy hollered. Did anybody ever tell you you're too bossy? This poster is ours. You do the booklet. Remember, that's what you wanted. See, there you go again, Sheila said. You keep forgetting that this is a committee. We're supposed to work together. Working together doesn't mean you give the orders and we do everything, Jimmy said. My feelings, exactly, I said. Sheila didn't answer. She just picked up her things and got her coat and left. Yeah, I hope she never comes back, Jimmy said. Oh, she'll be back, I told him. We're her committee. Jimmy laughed. Yeah, we're all one happy committee. I put our poster under the bed and said goodbye to Jimmy and then washed up for supper. My mom was being pretty nice about our committee meetings. She arranged to have Fudge play at Ralph's apartment on Tuesdays and at Jenny's on Thursdays. Sam has the chicken pox, so he couldn't play at all. I was glad that next week would be our last committee meeting after school. I was sick of Sheila and I was getting sick of transportation. Besides, now that I knew a monorail system was the only way to save our city, I was getting upset that the mayor and the other guys that run things at City Hall weren't doing anything about installing one. If I know that's the best method of city transportation, then how come they don't know it? The next day when I came home from school, I went into my bedroom to see Dribble like I always do. Fudge was in there sitting on my bed. Why are you in my room? I asked him. He smiled. You know you're not supposed to be in here. This is my room. You want to see? Fudge said. See what? You want to see? What? What are you talking about? I asked. He jumped off my bed and crawled underneath it, and he came out with our poster, and he held it up. See? He said. Pretty. What did you do? I yelled. What did you do to our poster? It was covered all over with scribbles in every color of magic marker. It was ruined. It was a mess, and it was ruined. And I was ready to kill Fudge. I grabbed my poster and ran into the kitchen to show my mom. I could hardly speak. Look, I said, feeling a lump in my throat. Look at what he did to my poster. I felt tears come into my eyes, but I didn't care. How could you let him? I asked my mother. How come you don't care about me? I threw the poster down and ran into my room. I slammed the door and took off my shoe and flung it at the wall, and it made a big black mark where it hit. Well, so what? Soon I heard my mother hollering, and then Fudge crying, and after a while, Mother knocked on my bedroom door and called, Peter, can I come in? He didn't answer. She opened the door and walked over to my bed, and she sat down next to me. I'm very sorry, she said. I still didn't say anything. Peter, she began. I didn't look at her. She touched my arm. Peter, please listen. Don't you see, Mom? I can't ever do my homework without him messing it up. It just isn't fair. I wish he was never born. Never. Oh, you don't mean that, my mother said. You just think you do. Don't tell me, I said. I do mean it. I really can't stand that kid. You're angry, my mom told him. I know that, and I don't blame you. Fudge had no right to touch your poster, so I punished him. You did? I asked. Fudge never gets punished. My parents don't believe in punishing him. You really punished him? I asked again. Yep, my mom said. I thought that over. Peter, my mom put her arm around me. I'll buy you a new poster board tomorrow. It was really my fault. I should have never let him into your room. That's why I need a lock on my door, I said. Nope, I don't like locks on doors. We're a family. We don't have locks on doors to lock each other out. If I had a lock, Fudge wouldn't have gotten into my poster. It won't happen again, my mother promised. I wanted to believe her, but I really didn't. Unless she tied him up, I knew my brother would get into my room again. We'll stop there and finish up the next part of Chapter 7 Monday. No, Tuesday. Monday's a holiday. Tuesday.